Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got news on who's getting a signature shoe next, Reebok and Angel Reese giving us a glimpse into the future, Eastside Golf teaming up with Nike, the week's hottest release, and of course, a Hard Pass. All right, let's start the show with some hot takes. De'Aaron Fox, he's getting a Curry signature shoe in December, according to Front Office Sports. That feels weird to say, even though we're a few years into the Curry brand taking off and leaving Under Armour and that logo that does not look good on sneakers behind. Curry Fox sounds like a restaurant with some banging curry dishes, but no, the Curry Fox 1 will be De'Aaron Fox's first signature shoe, and he will be the first athlete under the Curry brand to get their own signature shoe. It's a good move for Fox as he finally gets something he gets to call his own, and it's a positive sign for Steph as he continues to grow the Curry brand. At the same time, we're gonna need both of them to step it up, right? When this episode drops, they will be in China to promote the launch of the first standalone Curry brand store. Interesting that China gets the first shot at a Curry store and not, say, the Bay Area, but that's clearly a business decision, and overseas fans love them some Steph. Will there be a teaser of Fox's shoe there, or will the focus primarily be on Steph? What is the plan for Curry brand moving forward? We were all excited for Steph when Curry brand was announced. We were especially fans of the expansion into other sports like golf. But are they going at the right pace, or has the momentum stalled a bit? We'll just have to see how this launch of the Curry Fox 1 goes, I guess. And just to show that we don't dislike all Under Armour sneakers, we gave props to Kelsey Plum's PEs a few weeks ago, and now we're showing love to the latest collab between the brand and Brandon Jennings' Tough Crowd label. It dropped back in early August, but these anatomic courts that turns the Strictly for Hooping Anatomics line from the mid-2010s that Steph was wearing before his signature shoes dropped into a lifestyle skate shoe? Well done, Under Armour. Well done. Just a few weeks after debuting her first signature collection with Reebok, Angel Reese is claiming another first for the brand as she has become the face of the Reebok Engine 8, the brand's first on-court performance shoe since the 2010s. According to Sneaker News, the Spring 2025 sneaker is inspired by the brand's iconic Mobius line from the 90s and features a revamped energy return system for the modern hooper. So far, we've seen Reese wear them in shiny silver and highlighter green colorways, and they have been eye-catching for sure. I would pump the brakes on making assumptions that the Engine A might be a teaser for what's to come for Reebok and Reese when they eventually get to her own signature shoe. Will elements of the Engine A carry over to her own sneaker, or will it be closer to her signature collection that included a handful of Reebok classics? If nothing else, silver seems to be a color that I would say suits her well. The reveal of the Engine A was also tied to the debut of the @Reebok Basketball Instagram account, which I didn't know was already being used by the brand. I guess it's more of a relaunch than anything else. Anyway, besides the teasers and the reveal of the Engine A, we also got a blurred picture of an athlete wearing questions. I saw someone say this is Allen Iverson, and I don't know, man. But yes, good to see Reebok truly starting to make a real push back into the basketball space. It's been far too long, and the energy that they can bring, not just from a nostalgic perspective, but from the performance side too, means we'll see other brands step their game up as well. At least that's the hope, right? Congratulations to Supreme for actually putting some effort into their Clogposit collab and adding some design elements to the shell instead of just slapping their name on it and calling it a day. I mean, okay, they just slapped their name on the black pair and gave up, but at least the other two pairs look something like you might wear along with a MotoGP jacket. Moving on. After working with Jordan Brand for a few years on a number of successful collaborations, Eastside Golf is taking their talents to Nike Golf for a collection called Everyone's Game that will feature the golf version of the Nike Air Max 86 along with the more traditional Nike Air Zoom Victory Tour 3 in time for the second annual Eastside Golf Invitational. Each pair will come with interchangeable swooshes that wrap around the shoe, and because it's Eastside, each swoosh has a special meaning to the brand, and we're going to let you know about it because it's that special. First, Maroon is a nod to Morehouse College, where founders Elijah Wanajanaku and Earl Cooper met. Blue for Spelman. Mirrored, that reflects how you see yourself in the game. Dimpled, like the dimples on the golf ball, so like the Air Jordan 13 upper? Gold represents the gold chain in Eastside Golf's iconic swingman logo. Chenille is a callback to Eastside Golf's popular sweaters. See, look. This is the type of energy and creativity that we need in collaborations nowadays. Sure, some might consider an all-white Air Max a little too commonplace and too bland, but there's a cynical version of this collab where there are 6 pairs of Air Max 86s and each of the different swooshes attached to them, forcing you to pick and choose. Making them modular ties into the everyone's game theme and reinforces the message that the Eastside crew is trying to spread about golf. Love it. Great job, fellas, and let's keep this thing going. The famous netting found on the side of the panels of the Air Jordan 4 is about to become the sneaker's most defining feature, with the leaked image of the net Air Jordan 4 making its way through the internets. Now, before you say "nyet," we need to give this sneaker a chance. It's possible that the netting that has now become almost like a shroud for the upper is not as pervasive or pronounced as the leak makes it out to be. Maybe it's more like the Adidas D-Rupt, which also has a net covering the sneaker's upper, and yeah, that really wasn't a great sneaker either, was it? Look, I imagine this one is one of those ideas in the lab where everybody was just joking around and somehow it made its way all the way through the chains of production, and now we're here and nobody wants to take credit for it. They look like a pure money Air Jordan floor with a fly swatter wrapped around the tongue. Anyway, in other Jordan brand related happenings, the Jordan Flight Court has been revealed, and it is the latest new silhouette from the brand that will debut with a collaboration. Designed by Who Decides War co-founder Tella D'Amour, the Flight Court has a skate shoe vibe and features tooling that shares a lot in common with the Air Jordan 4, and by proxy, the Air Jordan 4 RM, which kicked off with the collab with Jordan brand athlete Nigel Sylvester. While we will never stop seeing Jordan collabs that use the well-known Air Jordans as their muse, pairing up new SKUs with big names or rising stars in the sports and design world, it's a smart move. It gives them more of a special feeling than if they would have just popped up at Foot Locker on a random day and been pigeonholed as a Team Jordan. Of course, the follow-up drops after the collab will be very important, like how's the energy for those GR Jordan 4 RMs. But I like this direction by Jordan Brand as they try to get people to care about the brand beyond just the first 14 Air Jordans. And closing out the Jordan Brand news, Paolo Banchero has a new personal logo. And what do you know? It's an amalgamation of his initials and his jersey numbers. Wow. Never seen that before. Nope. It's a brand new innovation by Jordan Brand to take a player's initials and jersey number and create a logo. Like, see how they use the negative space to spell out the B? That's heady stuff, man. Can't wait to see that on the Banchero player exclusive. Look, I know that take sounded super haterific, but graphic design is my passion. I miss the days of the Jumpman or the 1 cent logo that really sparked our imagination and awe. Part of it is nostalgia, sure, but I feel like we could all try a little bit harder to incorporate an athlete's personality and on-court style into a logo. Like, take Tiger Woods. He's had 4 signature logos in his career, and they've all managed to fit him in varying degrees of success. There was his first logo with Nike, a yin-yang symbol that represented different facets of Tiger's game, not to mention his multi-ethnic background. Fans loved that logo and clamored for retros of it from time to time. Then we transitioned to the logo fans know him for the most, the TW logo. Yeah, it's his initials, and we just spent a whole bit clowning on the overused practice, but this was the early days and it seemed novel at the time. It also looked like a banner or a golf flag pin, so the connection to the game was there. Then we've got the Tiger Woods Foundation logo. Moving on. And then we have Sunday Red. Now, I know there was a lot of hesitation to the reveal of that logo and how it looks like the old school brand Le Tigre, but after you hear the story about how the stripes represent his major wins, it makes sense. I would still place it third on the Tiger logo power ranking behind the TW and the Yin Yang, but at least the effort to go beyond the initials was there. We need more, people. We need more. All right, let's move on to the pick of the weeks. So we have 2. We have the Curry 12 Camp Curry. That's going to be on the 12th for $140. And the Jordan Zion 3 Galaxy, same day, same price. Dropping on the same day and for the same price are these intergalactic themed sneaker shoes from Steph and Zion. Wild coincidence, right? But Camp Curry 12s are tied to, naturally, Steph's basketball camp in the Bay Area, while the Jordan Zion 3 Galaxy is yet another solid entry in Zion Williamson's 3rd signature shoe. The Space Age vibes are nostalgic to sneakerheads who are around for the 2012 NBA All-Star Weekend and how pivotal those days were to the explosion of sneaker culture into the mainstream. Not saying these sneakers are the start of that revival, but it is a fun reminder of what once was. By the time you watch this, AEW All Out will have taken place, the follow-up pay-per-view to All In at Wembley Stadium in the UK just 2 weeks ago. While the card doesn't stack up in terms of star power compared to All In, there is one match on there that I would say rises above the rest simply because of the hateration going on. And that's the steel cage match between Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. Last year, we gave props to Swerve for stepping up and becoming one of AEW's top stars, and a big reason for that was his rivalry with Page, culminating in a Texas death match that lived up to the name. Well, I mean, nobody died because, come on, it's all a work, bro. But it proved that AEW can tell good, intense stories without a championship belt if given the opportunity and not just catering to sickos who love flippy shit. After that match, most figured the rivalry would end and they would not cross paths until years down the line. Because why burn out on a good thing? Well, if by years down the line you mean a good chunk of 2024, well, then you'd be right. The steel cage match is going to be a blow-off where they separate once more afterwards, or it's going to be the kickoff to another epic feud. Either way, I think we may have already reached the pinnacle of pettiness, because this past Wednesday, Paige burned Swerve's childhood house down. It doesn't get much more petty than that. To be fair, Swerve did break into Paige's house and cut a promo on a sleeping baby, so this is just payback for that, I think. Not sure which is worse in the hierarchy of petty things you could do to a rival. And sure, the house is probably inside of a controlled soundstage somewhere and not an actual residence in Washington State, but the visual of Paige just sitting on a lounge chair drinking whiskey as Swerve watches his house burn down via satellite, that's going to be one of those memories fans carry with them for a long time. So props to Swerve on rising to the top of the AEW card, and props to Hangman for being a top candidate for Wrestling Hater of the Year. Silky Johnston would be proud if he wasn't busy putting water in Buck Nasty Mama's dish. Yeah, anyway. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass. We'll take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like Hard Pass's excitement for the upcoming NFL season. Football's back. Yay. College football is already off and running, and the pros are taking over on Sundays again. Whoop, whoop. The NFL season kicked off this weekend, and while we have no idea if our San Francisco 49ers beat the New York Jets, we're rooting for that and hoping that Aaron Rodgers has flashbacks to the 4 times he's played against his hometown team in the playoffs. He's 0-4 against the Niners in the postseason, if you didn't know. But honestly, with golf, F1, and the WNBA and pro wrestling on our mind, not to mention the residual vibes from the Olympics, it hasn't been easy to pay attention to football, especially since we already kind of know how it's going to play out. Sure, there's the exhausting holdouts of some of our best players, which thankfully were resolved before the season started, and the lingering resentment of losing yet another Super Bowl to the Chiefs, but that's not really it. I don't mean that barring injury, the Chiefs have Jordan, aka Patrick Mahomes, and are going to win again. I mean the week-to-week of it all. The games are fine, but it's everything else surrounding it. It's all anybody wants to talk about. Like, no sport matters but football. Hey, if you're a fan, I'm not here to be a killjoy. I'm going to be rooting for my team as much as the next diehard. It would just be nice if it was possible to go online, check social media, watch ESPN, and not see the following things. Oh, and by the way, never get it twisted. I'm always going to be on the side of the players. Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams deserve all the money they got. The 24-hour Dallas Cowboys news cycle. When NBA fans complain that all talking heads ever want to talk about are the Lakers no matter how good or bad they are, do they mean like when people won't shut up about the Cowboys? It can't be that, right? People love the Lakers. I mean, they love the purple and gold so much, the comment section on this show can't get enough of it. Nah, that can't be it. But what I do know is that all of the Cowboys talk, it's insufferable. There are only so many times a year I can stand to see Stephen A. Smith dress up like Hangman Page and troll Cowboys fans. Okay, that's a lie. I never get tired of seeing Stephen A. Smith dress up like Hangman Page and troll Cowboys fans. But what is exhausting is First Take spending hours upon hours each week yapping about the Cowboys even when they suck. And they always suck. And if they don't suck, they underachieve. It's the circle of football life. At least the Niners have been back to the Super Bowl since the 90s. Another thing, the 24-hour Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, but mostly Rodgers news cycle. For a guy who won a Super Bowl over a decade ago and is somehow both a choker and very unlucky in the playoffs, people really care about his worldviews, huh? I couldn't care less about his beliefs. That's his prerogative. It's the smarminess of it all. We don't need news alerts that he went on another ayahuasca bender and discovered his third eye was hiding in the football. It's okay. It's really okay. As for Brady, whatever. He's harmless. Let's see if he's good at commentary. He was a hell of a good sport at the roast a few months back, though. Fantasy football. Not because fantasy football isn't fun. It's great if you have time to invest in it. Co-writer and I just have too many friends who think we care about their teams. If we're not in the same league, don't talk about it in the group chat. Culture war bullshit. Actually, this is the one. Yep, put a pin in this one. This sport that we all grew up watching and loving because of Thanksgiving, Monday nights, and old school NFL film videos narrated by the voice of God, John Facenda, has become like a football that got knocked loose and is just bouncing all over the field as everybody tries to grab it to advance whatever hot take they've got. Maybe it was always this way and our childhood shielded us from it back then, but yo, it got really annoying and really draining last season. Just wake me up when the Niners are either A, in the Super Bowl and lose to the Chiefs again, or B, they're eliminated from the playoffs. That way we can focus on hoops and the end of F1 season again. Oh, who are we kidding? We're gonna do that anyways. All right. That's going to be it for the show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your social media if you want. No more than 30 seconds would be great. All right, we'll see you next week. Peace.